going nowhere. 'Cause you're the best man I ever known. Ain't no way I can let you go. No, 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 no way. Ain't no way I'm living without you. I'm not living without you. Oh, no, no. What up, Sam?
Oh
All
yeah.
right,
All right, bro, check this
I'm
out.
just being silly.
Good to
Yeah,
see you, man.
Good seeing you, brother. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I finally recovered from the flu. Took only like 17 days. So
You did it quickly.
you think you're bulletproof till you get the flu, and then you're like, dang, bro, what is human life? What is Hey, that you know what?
Yeah,
That brings us into our talk about power systems.
it does. Yeah,
Because
what
you
is human
think you're
life?
so good, and then the flu hits you, and you're like, oh, I'm close to death at any time.
You're bulletproof, and then a bullet hits you, and then you're
Like,
like, "Am I? Is that's a different bullet? Who made bullets that are sharp?
bullets
Yeah,
hurt.
they hurt."
Yeah,
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go into it, man.
let's do it.
Before we even, or maybe we already put the intro in here. I know you said best practice is no intro, but that guitar riff you did is so good. So like, I don't know what to do about it.
I need to do some more guitar riffs.
You got to.
Just a bunch of them.
Yeah,
So
yeah. But okay, let's start with magic systems. Let's talk about like limits. I want to do that instead.
okay.
Let's get more specific. What about limits on magic systems?
I love it.
Yeah.
And why are we doing this? We're talking
Yeah,
about
I was
limit.
gonna say like nobody knows why we're Yeah. You tell them, you tell them. You're good at explaining why we do
Oh,
stuff.
okay, okay. So we're both writers. We're both breaking into, the industry and just trying to get published. And so yeah, we're geeking out over magic systems first because it's fun. It's fun.
Fun.
Like, this is the stuff you like, like what grabbed you like your attention when you were a kid, right? And you
Hmm.
first saw whatever the property is. For me, of course, it's like Star Wars. I'm a little older. And it's just the coolest thing in the world, dude. And so that just like takes you in. But then you realize as you get into storytelling that magic systems are a part of anything that's sci-fi or fantasy related.
Hmm.
And I would argue that you could reframe everything into a magic system, even a romance.
Yeah.
Like if you just discuss terms in a different way, his charisma, his I don't know, his offense, his defense, right? Like
I would love to two dudes that don't make romance stories. We would, I think, tell them what we're doing, and then I'll tell you my subsection thought for February.
okay. So we just did a project together. That's done. We're freaking done
Mr.
with it.
Perfect Man.
It's the perfect band. It's gonna be really good. We're in editing right now. That's gonna be really cool. Um, and we're working on a project for to hopefully tackle in 2026. New Year's coming. Or maybe it's already here. I don't know. It's close.
When you
Um,
That's what we're doing.
when you're watching it, that's what the time is. And so we're working on a new project, but for this one, we're being very specific about building a magic system. We got a little bit inspired by Dungeon Crawler Carl and by the Lit RPG thing.
Mhm.
And the more we look at it, the more we're like, man, we like this. We freaking like this, and a lot of people like this. And Dungeon Crawler Carl's fun because it's well written, but it's also fun because that magic system is almost like a video game magic system where you've got everything, just all the numbers for every different category. That's super fun to track those and watch those. And so we're trying to build our own super objective magic system that we can create into a universe, and we can write multiple projects pulling, set in this place, rather than just randomly creating magic systems for every single thing we do. And by magic system or power system, what we're talking about is just what governs the physics of the world, what governs this, what the setting is like, what governs what people's limitations are, and what governs what people are like, the abilities that people are able to have.
Right.
um and this isn't all supernatural stuff. Like, if let's say there's all right, I say this, yeah, I say this is let's so this isn't a big supernatural thing, but let's
Yeah.
just think like if there were aliens and they came to planet Earth, and let's say they were super weak on their planet, right? Because their gravity's a bit stronger.
Yeah.
When they or their gravity's weaker. So when they get to planet Earth, they're like, oh my God, crushed by gravity, super weak. Just our environment would be a
Adjust.
magic system. And yeah, they'd be like, these people are insanely powerful. And we're like, really? I can run 13 miles an hour. Are you sure that's super powered? But for
Yeah.
them, it would be, right? And vice versa. Maybe you go to their planet and you're a god because like the gravity's so much lighter. And there's all kind of ideas and all kind of properties that do that same thing. And all they're doing is messing around with the environment. And so like any story takes these things into consideration. What are your limitations? What are people's abilities? What are they able to do? And that can be so fun. It can create a whole project.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Look, here's a base level thing to spark your thought process. Take things that you know and flip it on its head. What if Superman didn't come here? What if we went to a different planet? And that has a similar effect. Because that's essentially the story of Superman. It's just
yeah, that's all
he's
it is.
just a guy, and unfortunately, he's showing up to a sun that he'd never have access to in his solar system, or probably part of his universe. I don't know enough to know where Krypton should be, but which I kind of want to find
So
out now. We're gonna, if you knew, I would have been like, "That is dope." You're like it's in the Horsehead Nebula, and and I think that's a real nebula. Side note, good job, Mark. Maybe. Let me know if I'm wrong.
we'll check later.
We'll check later. Yeah, so I
Sounds
think
good.
you're, but it's really cool, man. I think this is a fun talk, and it's gonna be really. That's my son. He wants to get in. He demands. But I don't want him on camera because I'm that kind of parent. But but it would. I think it's really cool, and we're starting this adventure January 2026. In the first 3 days, we're dropping. You're gonna see this episode
Yep.
and we're gonna run through it and we're gonna talk about different things from setting to world building to the powers within a world, and we're gonna be developing the concept of what we want to make through this adventure together. And then we're once we build a world, we'll write books, a book at least each in that world, hopefully. Yeah, at least if we really like, if we spend all the year building this thing, we might write multiple, even if you guys should read it. But even if you don't, we might have fun doing it. And then we'll eventually have our characters, meet and hang out together and save the world or die trying because it's how books work. But
Yeah.
uh,
I think I like the concept of dials, right?
yeah.
And the more restrictive you are with certain dials, like they have to
Mhm.
be turned to like 99 out of 100. Sometimes I believe that that can create more freedom with some of the other dials.
Yeah.
So like if we what we're choosing to do is if we dial in the magic system, like the plot and the narrative, we can allow the magic system to drive a lot of that. And that's kind of cool organic writing when and you see it happen rarely when the system puts pressure on actual pressure on the characters, and that's where you feel the tension, and that's where you get stakes. And I mean, something as simple as Game of Thrones. I think one concept of why people like that so much is because you've got the rules of this gnarly world, and then like you know people live or die in those rules,
Based on
and
that.
yeah, so the story is guided by the system and the story is guided by the laws of that universe. And that allows like for real tension and crazy things to happen, especially if you're willing to let go of characters. And then we get super mad whenever, you can see when they're like, yeah, but he's not dead though. He
Yeah,
didn't die.
breaking
Like,
breaking your rules. Let's go into that. Let's go into a segment that I'm gonna start calling Thank You Family Guy. You know what really grinds my gears.
I love it.
Yeah,
What grinds my gears? We can do a little thing.
yeah. Sam's gonna make one. I don't know when. It might not be for this one, but eventually you'll hear his great guitar playing.
I might do this right after. Just be like, what grinds my gears?
All right,
And
wait, let
then
me say it real
like
cool. Hold on. Let me say it real cool for you.
here we go.
You know what really grinds my gears?
What grinds my gears?
All right. So let's I've got stuff in my pocket because I already know it bothers me
Let
about
it
stuff.
loose. Just let
All
it
right,
loose, Mark. This is a
letting
safe
it go.
space, buddy.
All right. So I love these properties. They're great. And if you guys watch any of the power system shorts that we make, you'll know that I've talked about them. I'm gonna start with Hunter x Hunter. All right.
Okay.
It's one of the greatest. power systems, I think, like it's super hard, it's super well put together. Maybe, and say it with me, folks, of all time. Um,
All
of all
time.
time. I think like Nen is so good within that. Nen is like a power source that's within you that you have to build out, and then you have to like, this is super light overview. Watch the power systems that I talked about, link to another video. But but it's a power system that's within you, but then you have to put limits on it by making oaths or vows, so to speak, about how you utilize this. But within this whole story, the second protagonist has a sister who is like her I think her name's like Nanaki or something like that, and she's like overcome by this cursed spirit or powerful entity or whatever it is, like basically a jinn, like a jinn, but not not the genie, but like a real bad one or whatever. But like they can make any wish come true. And if you don't answer their question, then that thing can just kill you with no limits to what it can do or no limits to what it does, which I think is a really cool thing to put inside as a extra thing. But I always just sat there at the end. I don't want to ruin it, but I was just like, dang, the brother, the second main character, eventually comes to a place where he can kind of manipulate this thing. And he doesn't want to. He's a good guy, and it's his sister slash this genie magic thing. But he could. And if there's like a really bad thing, if I'm sitting here and I don't want to manipulate my son and Sam dies saving the world, I can just be like, I'll just bring Sam back. I mean, I don't.
Yeah, yeah.
Like not saying
Oh,
it's
yeah.
bad. I'm just saying that option's there, and then it makes me think that I don't know if it makes you a good guy or a bad guy by not doing that. Because this thing's not good or bad. It's just a thing. And your sister isn't aware that you even do it. So are you a
Yeah.
good guy or a bad guy by doing this? And so not answering that question means there's a hole in your story's power system because now you could subvert everything you've done with a wish. And that's cool if there was a limit.
Is the frustration then that he doesn't use the wish when he should later on?
For me, the frustration is always like, why do you have the sword of power, the sword of soul sitting next to you and you don't swing it? And you go, because if I swing it, my sister will be hurt. And I'm like, your sister just got shot, my guy. Swing the
Yeah.
sword. Like,
Yeah,
like not
dude.
so.
It's so interesting because now we're looking at this as writers, and I've seen 100 examples of exactly that, where like you're like there's and so as a writer, it'll be a situation, and you can handle it well or poorly.
Yeah.
This type of thing happens on purpose, like very purposefully, it's handled really well, then you as the writer are introducing it on purpose, and you're doing it to challenge the character's morality usually, or challenge the character's convictions. And
Yes.
so it's like maybe it's like you get the power to bring anyone back from the dead, right? But this character just believes like it's wrong. He believes it's wrong. If the writer does that properly, then you can torture the heck out of that character
Yes.
and maybe even see him give in, which would be insanely powerful, and raise someone and then face the consequences of that, especially like even if it's just moral wrestling. But
Hmm.
most of the time when this happens, it's something that happens because it's cool. And then you see the writer like managing it on the backside, like, oh crap, dang, he could just bring them back right now. So what should I do? And then you get scenes, out of the blue where the character's like, yeah, I just try not to do that.
Hurts my
It's
heart, my life force.
yeah. My life force goes down when and
Mm.
you can see when it's handled on the back end versus when it's purposely used as a tool to put the screws to your character.
Yeah.
I think a great example of it is oh man, have you seen this cartoon? It's Superman versus the Elite.
Is this the one where he's dying?
No, he's going against all these British dudes.
Yeah, Superman's dying in that one because he absorbed too much sun. There's the guy he's got wearing the Union Jack, British flag, right?
Sort of. I mean, the guy basically they'll kill. They're
Okay.
a team that will kill. and Superman's got in bad press because all the bad guys he catches, they all just get back out and then just keep murdering people and stuff. And so everyone's like, Superman, can you just actually like just kill the bad guys so that we cannot deal with this? And he's like, no, I can't because it's wrong.
Yeah.
So that could be this annoying thing that you're managing. And I'll give you an example of that that just comes to mind briefly.
Yeah.
Or it can be this a whole movie where Superman is getting beat to crap and the writer is building up the ideology of his enemies. But then he
Yeah.
shows that ideology go wrong because
Crumple.
they get drunk with their power and they're judge, jury, executioner. And
Hmm.
then Superman plays along
Like he
and
snaps, right?
so spoiler alert,
I've seen it. I love this. Yeah.
he fake snaps and he just becomes the terrifying version of himself. And they're just like
Nothing they can do.
oh my God, there's some great lines where he's like, I felt like I've lived in a world of paper. And like now I can just finally like let loose, And the
Yeah.
guy just the guy tries to beat him up, and of course it doesn't work, and he's utterly invincible.
And
And
Superman lobotomizes him through his eyes so he can't use the power, right?
yes. And then he just beats the crap out of him like this. He just walks up real slow and just
Hip
goes bang.
slap. Yeah.
And it's just like a sonic boom, and then he does it like twice, and the dude's like spitting out blood.
This guy's got no, he never had a chance, but just
No,
Superman's
no.
ideology is what keeps him being human. I want real quick side, oh gosh, we got so much that we side note, but I want to say
That's such a good
it's
movie.
such a good movie. I'm thinking of All-Star Superman where he's dying, but yeah,
That
but this movie that you're talking about, I remember that one. But the line you said is one of my favorite lines of all time about Superman. And from my knowledge, and people are going to tell me wrong, but it comes from even before that movie
it was
to
a different movie. Yeah, he's
he
yeah.
says
What
it in the
was
movie you
it?
said. He says it in the movie you talked about. But I
Oh, he
mean,
says it in both.
yeah, he does. Or he says it in that where he felt like he was living in cardboard and he's threatening the guy with it. But from my memory, the original time I was a kid and it was in the cartoon, the animated series Justice League, where he's at the very end, Doomsday's there, like, you not gonna mess with me. And he goes, I feel like I'm living in a world of cardboard. What we have here is a rare opportunity to
To cut loose.
to cut loose. Yeah. And he hits him with like the guap guap 3000 punch and like sonic booms destroys everything. Anyways, I don't want to
So
get off
great.
topic.
I think he actually goes into the earth
Yeah.
and lifts up a giant chunk of earth and turns it upside down on
Crush him. It's just look, Superman, like the best part about Superman's a great example of writing power systems correctly because you need to also count in people's personalities of what they'll do. Giving somebody the power to raise the dead is a great power for a bad guy, but what an amazing power for a good guy that doesn't use it. And just he's got one guy named Jeeves who's actually Genghis Khan, but he feels so bad about what he did. He'll never do it again. And Genghis is there always trying to tell him what to do to make him kill more people, like the devil on his shoulder, but he's bound to him, so he's his butler. Like that's a kind of a cool
That's
thing to where
really cool. I think
he's
you just created something awesome,
I
by the
actually
way.
kind of like that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's actually Genghis Khan. He's his butler, and they're in a life debt. But Genghis thinks he's an idiot for not, like
Using his
taking the
power.
world.
Genghis is like,
But
I literally
the world
changed.
already.
Yeah, I dropped the temperature of the earth by 2% by the amount of people I murdered. And you're not going to murder and bring people back to life. We don't agree, but I'm subservient.
Yeah, or you get, so I think that's an example of how to do that well, and when it's done purposefully. But it's hard to do.
It's
That's
hard.
the whole movie just built on for that moment. And like a bad example is
Yeah,
Super.
grind the gears.
This grinds my this grinds my gears. In the Man of Steel,
Yeah.
the first Henry Cavill one when he first took his shirt off and everyone was like, "Oh," for the first time,
He
right? You know
looks
what I
pretty
mean?
good.
But he works out. It's like, yeah, he's freaking
He
Superman.
does.
Dude.
Yeah,
Roids.
he better. Yeah.
So he was just on roids for 6 months and just eating protein, and just bench pressing every day.
Turkey, chicken, and rabbit and steak.
I ate a lot of turkey, man.
That's how I got like this.
Yeah, a lot of turkey.
Yeah.
Maybe he did it natural. He's a genetically
Look, I'll give
creme
it
de la
to
creme.
him. But if I look like that and I'm going hard this year, it's steroids. I'm not gonna lie to anybody.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
I show up looking like that, that's I'm not look.
That ripped and that big, just
Yeah,
so fast.
take
But
up all this space.
and that was a good movie, man. But what like I hated was when Paul Kent dies. When Kevin Costner dad dies, that
Because
made
of
me so mad. And I think it maybe it could have worked. It could have worked. I think it broke down in the logistics of it.
yes,
Like
agreed.
he's just has all the time in the world. He's so fast.
They
There's
couldn't
like
even
eight
notice.
people around. Like who really cares? And then is that why Superman does or doesn't do what he does? Like so that people see or not? Like that's not
Yeah,
really his character. Superman's going to do the right thing no matter what.
right.
So I feel like he would face the pain of
Being
disobeying his
revealed.
yeah,
Yeah,
being revealed of whatever to save a life. And Kevin Costner, who's the best guy ever.
mm,
I freaking love him. He Field of Dreams. He's had my heart since Field of Dreams
you
because I
give
just
me
want
a Kevin Costner vibe, by the way. Like
oh wow,
you
I
give me
wish,
Robin Williams or not Robin Williams. You give me Robin Hood, Kevin Costner vibes.
man, that'd be so cool. But I don't agree with you, but man, it'd be so great.
Either we go into the woods or with the ghost, or we become the ghost ourselves.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
good line.
If y'all haven't watched every Kevin Costner movie ever, what are you doing? Why are you
What
here?
are you
Go watch
doing?
them all right now.
We really should have wrote the book with Kevin Costner. No,
We'll write another book
Tom
with
Cruise,
Kevin
you're great.
Costner. He's
Second,
just the best.
he's great.
So yeah, he just says no. He's like, "Don't save me."
Mhm.
Superman doesn't save him, and he freaking just dies for
I'm
a
not
dog.
letting my
To
dad
save
die.
a dog, and I'm like, and so that ground my gears because it was an example of the story forcing these limitations on Superman, and they were trying to show his limitations the magic system, which his biggest limitations are here, right? We just
Right.
talked about that.
Hmm.
Superman's limitations is his morality, and so and what he won't do because it's wrong, or what has to do even though he doesn't want to because it's right.
Right.
And then he does have another limitation, which is that he's kind of a nerd. He's
Right.
supposed
And
to
then
be
the
a nerd,
last
and
one, which is built into the whole comic system, which is apparently Batman. I don't truly agree with it, but writing is writing. Like he's got the limitation of like, I can't fight Batman and win. I'm like, you can't fight the guy that I could never beat in my life. But still, you can't fight martial arts Iron Man and win instantly. But you can beat Dark. I don't know. I don't want to get into it. I just mean,
but that's the same thing. It's like even Batman versus Superman, like where a lot of things fall apart is an execution of like how these two could actually be evenly matched.
right.
And then what happens? What keeps him from killing Batman or what keeps Batman from killing Superman in that situation? Um,
You're like, which I don't understand how that.
you have Kryptonite. Why is Kryptonite so frustrating to watch?
Because
They
it's
pull it out. They're like,
yeah, and super. The thing is Kryptonite would be great if it instantly. Hold on, Batman versus Superman would work if Batman bowed to him, said you're the greatest, and betrayed him within that because he always planned to. Meaning Superman can't read your mind, and if he said you're right, Superman, let's do whatever you're saying. If Superman was a bad guy, then Batman could get his confidence. The Batman's my best friend, and Batman could stab him with kryptonite and he'd have to kill him. And I'd say I can understand how he did I guess trying to save the world through taking out Superman, the bad guy, right? And in that way. But that's the only way I can picture it. Kryptonite's garbage because Superman goes like, "Oh, it hurts," but he can always kind of fly away. Like even
yeah.
if it was slow, and I'm like, the further away you get, the more it doesn't affect you. So that means if they were like, shooting him now could maybe kill him, you'd fly away, and they'd go, now the bullet came out of him. It's so weak. It needs to be like he gets in the area where he can see kryptonite, or even not even seeing it. If it's like
It's tough.
anywhere,
It's tough because it's so on and off. Like
yeah,
for there to be a weakness, and so this is something for like when we're making magic systems, and for a lot of the properties that do this really well, I think that it's better for it to not just be an on-off switch. Like this is a weakness, you automatically lose
yeah,
immediately.
consistency,
But I mean,
whatever it
you
is,
have the consistency, but if it's too black and white
black
like
and
that,
white.
then it's boring and that's kind of the problem with Superman is he's utterly unstoppable. Nothing can believably touch him. And then
Mhm.
Kryptonite comes out, and if you trap him in a room with it,
Game over.
game over. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've
No,
seen
you're
examples
right.
that work well. Quick side note, even I don't know why we're talking about Superman so much. I freaking
So
love
hard on
Superman.
him. Yeah.
Remember the Superman the animated series? One of the most fun episodes I've ever seen
Hmm.
is Parasite, dude.
Oh
This
yeah, I saw that.
this guy has absorption powers, and he
Hmm.
runs into him accidentally at some point, and is like,
Oh
"What was
my
that?"
goodness. Yeah,
And
this
so
drug.
he grabs him, and he just kidnaps him, and he's just milking the powers every day from him, and he's stuck, and
Yeah,
he's weak, when that happens. So that's terrifying. But
that's
I don't
terrifying being trapped, but that's like being impervious to death, but being cut into boxes and dropped to the bottom of the sea. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
like,
That
but
sucks.
that sucks. But I will say I agree. I mean, we can look, we can talk about Superman all day because I think that he's a great example of like superpower that is just utilized generally not well, not from him. I mean, from writers. And sometimes when they write it right, it's so good, you
Yeah.
know.
But it's
But it's
hard. He's a hard one though,
of
because
course. What do you think doing?
you have to nail the morality stuff,
Hmm.
because that's his motivation. And if
Yeah,
you can't, if that is wishy-washy, then everyone's going to ask the question, why didn't he just punch that dude's head off? And it'll be a
right.
legitimate question.
It,
Um,
hmm.
that's kind of what Zack Snyder ran into a little bit when things got a little dark. It was like punch everyone's head off,
Yeah.
and
You
you
killed
know,
seven parademons. Why can't you kill the murderer bad guy?
kill him.
I'm not saying I agree. I'm just saying like the parademons came to Earth and killed one guy. That guy murdered seven women and men and children. I'm not, there's no comparison. I'm saying they're even,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
they're bad guys, but you lasered one. The other
yeah.
guy, you broke his arm and said, stop this. Like, because he's a person. I don't know. Because he's a human, I mean. Um, yeah, I think morality is important to grab. But okay, so moving forward so that we can keep building this, because I think we could just try and fix Superman, which would be a fun episode anyway. Maybe we
We'll
should
see.
find out Superman's birthday and do it on his birthday.
Ooh, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Side note, future me, do that. All right, cool. It's taken care of.
Future Sam, take care of it. Future
And we'll
Mark,
do it.
continue to just be dancing, doing
That
your
idiot
thing.
will do anything.
All right.
So, what else are you thinking through? So you talked about Nin a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. And then
Talked about, I guess,
you gave us
Kryptonian
Superman.
powers,
Yeah, Kryptonian.
which is setting based.
Here's one you're gonna like.
Let's hear it.
Really bothers me. Star Wars.
Okay, okay.
Wait, without
The
going into
episode just got
everything.
longer.
I did you just saw the runtime. It went like 25 minutes to 58 minutes.
What
Here,
grinds your gears?
I'm keeping I'm keeping it very locked in. I
Okay.
don't like in the new three movies. I don't like a lot of the things in the new three movies. And I like some things, by the way. So I'm not the guy that goes like I hate it all. I actually like that they redid the story in the original first one in a different way because life is cyclical a lot like that. History repeats itself because people refuse to like learn. And
Well,
so
and the hero's journey doesn't really change.
doesn't change.
It's the
Yeah,
hero's journey, bro. Like the human soul needs the hero's journey.
it
So
needs
but
it.
that's a whole
So
nother talk.
whole different thing. But I don't like, I dislike that there's like healing, the force healing. That's what it's called, force healing.
Yeah.
I hate that because
Yeah.
in the prequels, in the original three, and then the prequels that came out after that precede, that come before the original three, lots of people would have really loved some force healing, but they didn't have it. And it's not that it magically showed up. They itemized and defined the force in not doing that, but all of a sudden they're like, oh man, I got some bad wounds that might have to plague me forever. And then Kylo Ren's like, not on my watch. I think Kylo did it. Yeah, I think it was Kylo. He's like, no, no,
Yeah,
no.
she killed him basically, and then she
Yeah,
healed him.
yes.
But first, and I guarantee you, they put that snake scene in so that she could heal something before she healed Kylo, so that it would set things up. And so, had that happened in one of the prequels, that could work. It didn't happen 5 movies ago.
Right.
It happened 5 scenes ago.
Five
That ain't
scenes.
enough.
Right, that's
That
not
ain't
enough. If you want to add to your power system, you need to like earn it. And it's
yes,
okay to you can't heal your best friend wolf that travels with you with your new magic healing that never showed up before. What you can
yeah,
heal is the bird that fell out of the tree. And then you can try to heal your wolf and it doesn't work. And now
yes,
you know that you're earning it. And now when you finally heal somebody and they go like Mark has been trying to heal birds and small injuries forever. I'm not saying leveling up because that's kind of a thing, but it still is the same actual thing without the number of level up. You
It's how
know
life works, though.
how life
Like
works.
you can't do trigonometry until you do algebra.
Right.
And if you're me, you can't do trigonometry no matter what. It doesn't matter. So I was great. I was awesome. I was a stud until trig or until calculus. And then it was over. I was like, well, that's what my brain can do,
Been
and
a
it ain't.
lovely ride. Yeah.
I see it over there. I see it, but I can't get there. It's gone.
And I don't want to build the bridge. The bridge isn't built. Everybody is going like, oh, the road, it's not too far of a jump. And I'm like, it's a damn skyscraper distance.
Yes. I'm
It's
like, I
okay.
don't have any materials left. I can't build a bridge. I'm
Yeah,
out.
I used them all. Yeah,
I
Oregon
used the ball
Trail.
to get to here.
Dysentery, I'm down here. Sorry, guys.
But that's how life works. Like
It
you earn
is.
stuff, and the reader wants to see that stuff, you know. And if you don't have to earn it, there has to be a reason for it, right?
Yeah, it
I
would
think
be.
the
Mhm.
force is such an interesting one because you know it was never clearly defined.
Right,
It's
it
never
wasn't.
been clearly defined. But there's like a with Star Wars, it's and I'm so opinionated about Star Wars, but there's a vibe to it, right? That sounds so nebulous, but there's like you see it operating in this box,
Yeah.
right? And then it's like and it is a little bit harder to define
Hmm.
because it's never just been here are the statistics on the force and how it works, and here's what it can
Right.
do. It's like here's kind of what we've seen. Here's the limitations we've seen. Like you see Luke try to lift the X-wing out and struggle, like
Hmm.
try to pull the X-wing out of the swamp. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, that tells me a lot, about what you're able to do. We see ships flying away and bad guys just walking away, like, crap.
Get
Okay, so
that
you
away
can't
from
grab
me.
anything and yank it down. You can't grab just do anything.
But
And
but
so yeah,
it's within your thought though. Like you're saying this stuff, but it's an invisible box that we've built through the understanding of this thing. And if you're going to break that, because that's a great way of building a strong magic system is from intuition and understanding and inference.
yes,
Meaning there's a world where for sure could Luke Skywalker and you're about to be like he did, but and Luke Skywalker grab a Star Destroyer out of the sky while it's trying to go away and pull it back down. But yeah, that's within the realm of what I've seen that the Force does. I'm not saying he can. I'm not saying he can't. I'm saying if you told me there was a story where he did it, I wouldn't be like impossible. I'd go, clearly the box of what they can do is bigger, but everything in the box is still what's in the box. You know what I
yeah,
mean? That's not new. That's just bigger. And that's okay. That's telling me that there's a guy that can cut a bamboo stick in half with a sword. Of course there is cool to see. If you said a guy can cut a building in half with a sword, I'd go, well, that seems out of place. But if I saw a guy cut a building almost in half, I'd
yeah,
go,
yeah.
there's levels to this.
If he was better, he could cut it in half.
You're right. I'm just not aware of the levels of this. But if you told
Yeah.
me the guy can make the building come to life with the sword, I'd go, that doesn't even make sense
Yes,
to what
yes.
we're talking
He can
about.
heal with the sword. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I mean, I think you hit on so many good things. One is just the Force is up to a certain point. The Force is a really good example of intuitively building a magic system or a power system, and that's actually the best way to do it as a writer for you, the reader, right?
Yeah.
Is I don't just go, all right, sit down, get your pencil out. I'm going to tell you all the qualifications. You can do that, but it's most editors will get you for that. And the more I read and the more I write, the more I realize it's really fun to just do stuff and for you to figure out the limitations of it based on how the characters are acting. But I have to know what the heck I'm doing first as the writer, or else I'm just going to be doing stuff.
Yeah.
And so that's what bothered me is like there's a feel, there's a vibe to it. There were stories where where that box grew, right? And that's one of like there is a it's I'm rereading a series, that was decanonized where in the end, I know Luke does something like that. I think he grabs like a super Star Destroyer or a Star Destroyer and pulls it down, but like it's insane. I'll let you know how he got to that point. But right now, as I'm watching it, I'm seeing him become a Jedi Master first.
Right.
I'm seeing him slowly expand, but every time this writer shows an expansion of the Force, they direct it back to a moment that already happened in the movies, and they have Luke thinking about what he already did, and they're in and expanding on it, and struggling and passing and failing to do that. And so if you want to build, you have to show again how you get there. And then here's the other thing: what grinds people's gears is when they're used to this box and they're the fan. They've watched the heck out of this. They've thought about this. They were the kid who was like, "This is the coolest thing ever" when they were a
Yep.
kid, and they saw it, and there were the kids who like hit each other with sticks, right? And throw it. Like we've all done it, right? Broomsticks, and so like, they know that box and they've got a feel for what it can and can't do. And so when you do this, we're doing a story right here, and it's and like so I got to point at the acolyte. I only watched 1 or 2 episodes. I had to turn it off. I got super frustrated. I knew nothing about it coming in. I was just like, Star Wars, I'm watching it, period.
Yep.
It's the first Star Wars thing I've ever DNF'd. And it was because I mean you got a dude making a power ball around himself because he's meditating, and like he's sitting there like asleep, and she's like hitting the shell like this force field, and I'm like, first of
That's
all,
not.
that's just basic tech of the universe that you could just use. It's called a force field.
Yep.
Second of all, like that's not the force. You don't just create this weird thing and sit in there while you're asleep. I'm sure you could probably think of an example or two, but it was just
It's weird.
haphazard and weird the way the force was used and the strengths and what it did. It just seemed like it was coming out of nowhere,
There were
and I
not
couldn't.
real
There was
checks
no
and
unifying
balances.
factor.
Yeah, the checks and I didn't watch the whole thing either. There wasn't good checks and balances. Where I know we told each other a time limit, so I'm on my clock. I'm looking. We got 3 minutes. I wanted to
Oh, it's
say.
not going to shut us off automatically this time.
It might. But I wanted to say the Acolyte 2, I saw a very famous bad scene that the lady bled her kyber crystal, turning her lightsaber from blue to red. And I'm like, Darth Vader took like a long time of doing this to change his lightsaber crystal from his lightsaber crystal to bleed it to turn it red. And you telling me this girl just like got mad and it turned red? Like it's just a lot of rule breaking, and I think that everything you're saying makes sense. It's outside of the box, and and that's just essentially boils down to breaking the rules, whether you're the person that made them or whether you're picking up a property and you don't understand the rules. Like there's,
Or if
Mhm.
you're writing in the real world, or if you're writing in a setting that people know,
Yep,
you got rules, bro, and you
you
got
got
to follow.
rules, and if
Yeah.
you're writing in a new setting, you got to make rules, or else your world doesn't feel real. We got like a few minutes here. Let me get to where we talked about going here, where we want to make a rule system. I don't think I want to. We can build a little bit off and present later in other episodes or build on screen with people, but I think what we've come to here is it's very important to have like a drain system or an entropy system or something that is like hinders you no matter what you build, no matter what the power system is. I know we talked about numbers and stuff like that, which I think is cool, but that's just the same thing as somebody studying a long time and Luke training with Yoda. He comes back, you assumed he leveled up. That's all you did.
Yeah.
He leveled up.
Yeah.
So, but we still need a system that goes like you can't just spam the force or
Yes.
Nen or anything or allomancy. And they've got those in there. They're all of these are great properties. They have them, but people don't listen to them sometimes. But for us making ours, we can't just spam whatever we're doing, right? They can't just go like dropping meteors on you, and you're like, well, now that you dropped it, good luck. He goes, I can do it 900 times. It doesn't do anything, and you're like,
That was just the first drop of meteors.
I got more. Yeah. So this was a fun combo because I think that we should talk about maybe what we want the limits of the world to be. We got to talk a lot about other things, but something maybe before even having fun building out what powers are is building out what limits look like in the sense of for the world. And maybe even a fun way of thinking is, and we can close it out, but a fun way of thinking is at the very least, if you want to go bigger and bigger and bigger, that there's thresholds like what regular people think limits are, what great people, powerful people think limits are, and what like super insane people that don't even care about anything that happens down there, what they think limits are. Because maybe, and that's just a thought to being like, limits can be broken, but people still need expectations on what that means. And so if you do it, you just got to go like, well, you went to another realm of processing or thought, even.
Yeah, I mean, so some of the basic limitations are just time sometimes.
True.
Even that's a limitation. Like if you show how difficult it is to attain to level up,
Yeah.
if you show how difficult that is, all right, bro, check this
Then you
out.
see like you only